What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys haven't seen the last video, we went to Higgins' house and we went to go cut off his radius support, or at least the driver's side headlight bucket. And then me and Higgins himself with Fred, we went to the junkyard. We cut off a donor part from a hatch to replace the one that's on his car, and we kind of left it at that. Now we're gonna be headed back there real soon. I am trying to get back on the HF CRX. I've been putting it off for quite some time, but there's a reason to it. One, it's just been super raining, and two, I don't want to continue working on this car until I had the paperwork. So the day that we went to go pick up Higgins' new hatch, we actually stopped by the owner's place, which I got this car from, and we picked up the paperwork for the car. So now I can continue building the car. I got all the paperwork right there for the next owner, and that the car is now under my possession fully. We also went to go pick up the carbon fiber hood as well. This originally was sold with the car, and we didn't bring it because the car was separated from where the hood was located at. But nonetheless, we got the hood. It's a ZC style. It has this hump right here, and I don't know what brand it is, but it is a little bit heavier than the other carbon fiber hoods that I own. Now I do have another ZC hood kind of chilling right here upside down. This is also carbon fiber. It does have the hump right there, and I want to sand this. I want to sand this one, and I also want to sand down the one that's on the white giveaway CRX, so I can spray them all together all at once while we're doing it. But the ZC hood is actually not going on this car. The ZC hood is going to be going on that car. That white hood is already resprayed. We're going to take that hood, stick it on here, get this car to be OEM spec as possible. And I'm not sure if I want to swap the hoods right now, but definitely want to swap the hood before I do body work, so we don't get a lot of the dust and stuff on the engine bay. I think I'm just gonna work on this car today, and what I want to do is I want to address the rust that's on the frame rail. Well, not the frame rail, but behind the fender. There's some rust that I showed you guys right there. I want to clean all that up and treat it up. So I have both fenders off the car, and these bolts, my goodness, they are rusted. So I'm gonna have to change that out when I put all this stuff back on. But this fender looks pretty straight, other than maybe a little, no, that's not a dent, that's just an illusion. But yeah, anyways, this is pretty straight. Now the passenger side has some damages on it. There's a dent right here that's really not a big deal to pop back out and fill it up and sand it flat. The rest of it is just it's pretty straight. Now, like I mentioned, this car was repainted, obviously, and it did go through some body work, and it does have base coat, clear coat. You can tell because clear coat is peeling right there, and you know, that's a clear indication that this thing has obviously clear coat on the car. So this side, I'm looking at the rust, and there's not really much here. Probably just on the bolt holes right there. Probably when the fender came off at one point in time, kind of pulled the paint off, or the car was painted with the fender on, so underneath here wasn't, you know, coated like the rest of the car did. So probably just gonna wire wheel all of that right there, give it some primer and some white paint, a little bit up here at the mounting point, a little bit under the window channel, which is super common because the water comes down here and then it drains down that way. So a lot of these other areas just has surface rust, like those right there, right here. Not too much underneath the fender. Definitely the engine bay has surface rust because the car sat outside for a year or so without a hood on, and I'm sure this thing kind of drenched in the rain, which explains all the rust under the bolt. Now this side though, this side definitely has more rust than the other. Mostly down here it's pretty clean. all the way up in, you know, this runner section right here. And the most part that needs to be addressed is under the bottom hinge. Now the good thing is it doesn't seem like there's rust in between the hinges. I'm probably going to clean all this up in just a minute, but definitely want to get all this rust section off and prep this area so that way we can get it protected from, you know, when the rain drizzles down this way again. So I'm just going to get all my stuff out real quick, figure out the plan of attack, and repair the rust. So I bought this the other day from Home Depot because all of my Harbor Freight ones and my older ones are kind of just frayed out and, you know, lost a lot of its wires. Now somebody mentioned to use this for the paint in the trunk because we got to repair some rust in the trunk as well. Maybe I'll do that today as well too. To use this because this doesn't this doesn't cut into the material and embed stuff in it. Now I don't use wire wheel much on like fabrication material because I know it could cut and embed like dirty stuff into the material for welding, but I use this for rust stuff, which works really fast. And we're going to be priming over it anyways and covering it up. You're really not going to see it. Now this right here, this does the same thing. It just doesn't embed. So I mean, between the two, depending on like what the job is I'm doing, I pick and choose between which one I want to use. But today I'm just going to use this because I know it works really fast. I know Fred is pretty big on safety glasses, guys, and he was trying to give me safety glasses when I was in the junkyard and I refused to because I'm an idiot. But for the wire wheel, 100% need safety glasses because this thing gets into your eye, boy. It's not fun. So PPE, guys, let's get to work. So I took one of my old wire wheel and welded a rod to it so I can extend it further because it is kind of hard to get to the one right there on the inside. How rare is this? I've only seen this a few times over the years. Is this an HF thing? It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I see you, buddy. Buddy. It's been a couple of days, buddy. I've been kind of gone. Meow. What's that? So this top section right here, I'm just going to spray some primer and then white paint on top of that. I'm not painting the engine bay, obviously. This right here, the fender covers it. So I just want to paint it white just so it's not exposed. And I'm probably going to try to use like paint thinner to get all this blue off right here so it's not like all oversprayed in the engine bay. Now the radiator support is blue like the rest of the car. And I am going to be sanding all of this out and painting it back to white when I paint the car, so that way it's not the only blue piece left in the vehicle. So I am just using, I went to Harbor Freight the other day. I picked up this Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer used on heavily rusted metal for the ultimate finish. Now I don't know if this is black or red. Looks red. Yeah, it's freaking red. So I'm just going to use this as the primer. It says to use on heavily rusted metal. Now I did grind down all of the metal, so I'm literally just spraying it over bare. So if this is supposed to treat or like stop the rust from spreading, it should just work perfectly fine on bare metal. So I'm going to do that as well as white Rust-Oleum right here. This is a head gasket cardboard from O'Reilly's, and I kind of just tore off one of these little tab right there. I'm going to use that to spray these 10 mil holes without getting overspray everywhere. Something like that. Let's get to it. I was just looking at this right here, not entirely sure what happened, but that actually goes through the frame rail. Now if there's water going through that, it could potentially rust the inside of all of this right here. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure why that's there. I think there's supposed to be like seam sealer, but there's not. And if there isn't, I'm not sure why there's a hole here. But I think what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, that's more hole right there. And there's an ant. It's kind of weird. Oops, sorry buddy. I was thinking about welding this seam and then priming all of this area as well too, but it looks like there's more holes right there. So I don't know if I want to just wire it down and just glob a bunch of window glue in there or just weld it. Nice and thick. Says to use on heavily rusted area. I'm just gonna go ahead and primer this, and I'm just gonna seam seal it instead of welding it, because these metal are so thin that if I weld it, I might blow holes through it and then cause more of a bigger hole to repair. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that dry, get some window glue, and pretty much smear this whole entire area. It ain't the same color white, but it's a lot better than the rust. This is that good stuff. Buddy, really? Really, buddy? So one thing I dislike about Rust-Oleum, any of the gloss paint, which is this one right here, it just takes a really long time to dry. I don't remember the last time I used Rust-Oleum out of a can or actually sprayed Rust-Oleum like how I did back in the days. But recently, every time I use them, it always takes a really long time. Now, paint obviously dries at a certain degree, at a certain rate, right? It's not cold, it's not raining. I don't know what degree it is right now, but it's been drying for like 30 minutes and it is just barely tacking up. Just barely tacking up. I want to put the fender back on, but I don't want to put the fender back on where the metal is gonna like smush, smear, and then the metal is gonna be exposed again, you know what I mean? So I want this to be fully cure before I put the fender back on. I guess I'm not really in a rush to put the fender back on. I just want it out of the way so I don't kick it. This corner right here, I globbed a bunch of window glue, and these are good window glue, and I kind of just filled in the holes a lot. Obviously I primered the bare metal and then I put this on. I'm gonna let this dry for like a couple of hours, and then before I close my night up, I'm going to paint all of this white as well too. So I think what I can do right now is work towards the trunk. So let's go ahead and get the trunk opened. Oh man, yeah, I don't remember when I got in the car, but it looks like I'm gonna need to vacuum this again real quick so I can put the floor mats back in so I can prevent that from happening again later. Let's pop the trunk, remove the cargo cover, and get to the rust that's in the back. What in tarnations? Where are you leaking from? Yeah, it's kind of cold without my sweater. So the tub itself, there's no like metal rotting through, which is good. It's mostly surface rust from all of the water that has kind of ponded up inside the tub from I don't know where the leak is coming from. I've never seen it come from here before, so I have no idea where water is getting through to get out of here. You can see it's all wet. Somebody was saying something about the seal, and the seal doesn't look bad, although it is kind of old, and I don't know, it's not dry rotted because it's not cracking, but where is water coming from? I do not know. So if you look, this is all freaking rusted out. I'm probably going to change the shocks as well too. You can see all of this is rusted out. I'm not sure why. And we have surface rust from the water that kind of just sat in here. So all I'm pretty much going to do here is wire wheel, or actually this time I'm going to use not the wire. I mean, I can use the wire wheel. It works really quick, but I'm going to use this sucker right here to get all of the rust off the tub and give it a good wipe down. Some, you know, not degreaser, but like wax and grease remover. Run the same primer on here and then just spray it white. We want it to look less orange because of the rust. So again, let's get to work. So I got the back all sprayed, primered, and Rust-Oleum semi-gloss white. We don't need to be super shiny in here because it's the trunk. So I'm gonna let this dry up in here. I'm just gonna let the heater run and just kind of help it dry before it gets too dark and too cold where that becomes super tacky. These are all dried up kind of, and the silicone back here is also dry to the touch. So I'm just going to spray this right here all white, get rid of all of that underneath primer, and I am just going to slap the fenders back on, align the front bumper to the support, and probably secure the bumper support to the bumper so that no, maybe I'll just do that another day because it's just going to be too heavy to move around. But I'm going to clean it real quick and then make some more progress. Man, I was at Harbor Freight yesterday and I totally forgot to get some lamps to help brighten up the areas that you can't see as much as the center. I'll probably just go get it another day or something. So I was gonna put the fender on just now, and then I realized that this fender is pretty damn heavy. On the backside, it doesn't show there's dents that may have been filled with body filler, but it is really heavy. Now, I took a closer look at the back side of the fender and realized that there's some type of liner on the inside here. If you look, it's textured kind of like the Line-X, and I'm not sure why this was applied to the back of the fender. I think whatever this coating is really puts a weight on this thing. Interesting. One more look at the repaired rusted spots. These were all grinded down to bare metal, and then primered, and then painted with Rust-Oleum satin white. Got all of this area all done up as well. All of that is done up as well, and we're ready to put the fender back on and get it all nice and secured so we can move on to the next thing. So obviously we're not going to get into the body work tonight because one, it's getting cold. Two, I don't like really working into the dark unless the car was like freaking turned this way, kind of how the giveaway CRX was. But you know, when the car was sitting like that, somebody reported me to the city, so definitely not doing that again. We were able to address a lot of the major rust spots, which was the bottom one right there, my main concern, and we were able to take care of some smaller ones over here, as well as that giant hole that was on the other side. We got it all prepped, primed, painted, and hopefully no rust is going to come through that for a very long time. We also went to the trunk area, got rid of all the surface rust and stuff, got that all prepped, primed, and painted as well. It is kind of dry to the touch, but obviously I'm not going to touch or fold any of the carpet stuff over here until this is fully cured. It's not the greatest paint job, but it's definitely better than the surface rust, which could potentially spray later down the road. I really do need to figure out where the leak is coming from so I can stop the leak from coming inside the trunk. The hatch window as well as the side windows do get fogged up from the inside, and you can see the water is actually on the inside as well. So if you guys have any clue of where all of this moisture and stuff is coming from, please let me know. If you guys have any lead on a new seal, because somebody told me to change the seal might help with the leakage, but you guys saw earlier that the leakage is actually coming from somewhere here, which doesn't make any sense to me where it could be kind of seeping through. So we're done with the trunk area for right now, and obviously under the fender and stuff. I really want to continue working on this car tomorrow and start on the body work, but you guys already know the body work stages take a really long time, so I think I'm going to save that for its own video. And I really just want to get this thing all prepped up, ready to paint, buy the materials. I am going to do two-stage with this car. I'm going to prime it, block it, and then I am going to lay the base coat, then clear coat, give this thing a really nice finish before it goes. I really just want to get going with it so I can get it on out of here, because I now have the oil pump for the K24, so we can get the K24 ready to put into the CRX, because I miss driving that car, and I want to get started with the turbo kit on this one as well too. We are taking little steps in the right direction, guys, and progress is better than no progress. You guys already know that. We are headed in the right direction, one step closer to getting this thing into paint. So as I was just jabbering on, I was thinking in my head really quickly that I am going to end the video right now, right here. And if you guys enjoyed today's video on the rust repair on the new CRX, I still haven't figured out a name yet. It's crazy, but if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for the body work, which I think I'm going to start tomorrow, 100% I'm going to start tomorrow. I will start it tomorrow. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Wait a minute. There was something else that I was supposed to share with you guys before we ended this video. Oh, I went to Harbor Freight, got myself a new light, because my other two is completely broken. Like you can see, the neck is all broken off of it. But anyways, there was something else that I was supposed to share with you guys. Oh, this right here. So this package right here came from Tim at Resto Tuners. If you guys don't know, Tim at Resto Tuners sells a lot of like reproduction parts for our chassis. I believe he has a lot more stuff, but I reached out to Resto Tuners before to get the gaskets for the tail lights on the giveaway CRX, and I feel like that's exactly what it is, because I can feel the cushion in here. But let's open this up very carefully and see what all is inside. This package is pretty heavy. There seems to be a lot more than I had thought was heading over here. Oh dang. Oh dang. Okay, wow. So we have a mail right here. It says, Dana, thank you for all that you do for the CRX community. We know you will put these parts to good use. Keep doing what you're doing. Tim and Ben over at Resto Tuners. Big shout out. So a lot of this stuff is to replace the stickers like all throughout the car. You can see right here, these are for like the lock mechanism on the door. We got the emergency, the what is that, defrost or vent, cruise, gas, hood, trunk, the fuse panel. There's a pretty cool sticker right here from Resto Tuners. I have this on my laptop. What is this? This is also for the door lock. It says it right there, year specific, and what is actually for. The description is on the sticker pack itself. This one right here, unleaded fuel, this goes under the gas cap. It kind of reminds you what fuel to use in your car. This piece right here is for the coolant reservoir. Normally these get torn off, or they get deteriorated over time, or they get super faded where you can't see it. Literally just sits on there just like that, but I'm not going to put it on just yet. Got a Resto Tuner sticker and a bunch of alcohol. This is definitely a nice touch to the package, and I believe this little pick is to pick the sticker off without using your thumb and leaving imprints to take the adhesive off. This is pretty cool as well too. This right here is an 8891 CRX taillight gasket. This is pretty sick because it's literally all the pieces you need to literally seal up the taillight to the car, especially after a fresh rebuild. You have the small little center one right here on the center garnish. You got these two outer ones for the center garnish, and then you got the two outer left and right hand side. This is pretty much direct fit, no modification needed. I have this on my CRXs as well, and they do the job. Last but not least, guys, this is definitely new to me because I didn't know they even offer these hardware. These are pretty much replacement hardware, and it seems to be nice and labeled on the inside. I just saw it just now. We have wiper motor bolts. These are a little bit longer, so these are specific. That's pretty cool. This one right here, UCA strut nuts. These are the 17 for the upper control arm, and it looks like we also have the 14s for the shocks as well too. Well, obviously strut nuts. And then this giant bag right here, guys, is pretty much all of the M6 16 mil 10 mil bolts underneath the hood. Literally there's like, I don't know, maybe 30 of them, and I think this is enough and some for the entire engine bay. So we're definitely going to swap these out once the car is all painted and ready to go. Big shout out to Tim and Ben over at Resto Tuners. Thank you guys for the care package. I truly appreciate it. It will definitely put everything to use that you guys sent over. If you guys are interested in some reproduction parts, be sure to hit up Resto Tuners right here. They also do giveaways for each time they double up on their Instagram followers. So if you guys could, please go to Resto Tuners on IG and give them a follow as well, and maybe you guys can win some hardware or some reproduction stickers and stuff for your vehicle. They have a ton more stuff on their website, so be sure to check it out. Resto Tuners. That's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. See you in the next one.